This is Support is Sexy, episode 327, with Syretta Bell, makeup artist and head of the makeup department at Tyler Perry Studios. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I interview inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and their lessons to help you take your business and your life to the next level and create something sexy. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm happy to have you here. It just would not be the same without you. And if you are listening to this in real time, happy Friday. I hope you are enjoying your day, whatever time of day it is, and that you're headed into a great weekend. But whenever you're listening to this, thank you for being here. It would not be the same without you. And today I'm so excited to welcome our guest, Syretta Bell. Syretta is a professional makeup artist for many years, and she's also the head of the makeup department at Tyler Perry Studios here in Atlanta. But what I love about Syretta and her journey and what she shares with us is the importance of knowing your worth. That's something that came up in different ways throughout our conversation again and again. Knowing your worth, whether you're a makeup artist or you're in any industry, we sometimes struggle. They say as women, but probably all of us struggle in some ways with setting our pricing, knowing our value, knowing that we should charge what we feel we are worth, or sometimes more than we feel we are worth for our services, and to really value our services so that other people will value them. So you'll hear that come up again and again. Make sure you check in. You know, I like to tell you, do a little check-in. If it resonates with you, maybe it's something you should evaluate. So what else you'll learn from Syretta is the importance of surrounding yourself with women who support you and inspire you. You know, I'm all about it. Also, why people you know may recognize your gift before you do, so pay attention. The reality behind the quote-unquote glamour of being a makeup artist and what you should really know. Tips on how to determine your rate as a makeup artist in particular. Also, why having a vision and sharing that vision helps move you forward. And the lesson that Syretta learned about timing, destiny, and that what is for you is for you. One other bonus, you'll get to hear about all of the must-have items that Syretta has in her makeup bag right now. So there is a lot of fun stuff in here. Make sure you listen out for that as well. All right, so now without further ado, Syretta Bell. So Syretta, thank you so much for joining us for an episode of Support is Sexy. I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I was excited to be a part of it.
Absolutely. So our first question, when did you first fall in love with entrepreneurship?
Probably at a very young age. I had mowed lawns. I was probably one of the only girls in my neighborhood who saw an opportunity to go out and cut grass and make some money. Mm-hmm. So I delivered newspapers. I did everything that girls weren't supposed to do to make money. And then as I got older, I did more traditional things like babysitting, just have a natural hustle mentality. Didn't know that I didn't want to work for people, but I knew that I liked to make money. And I had an opportunity at a young age to figure that out through watching my parents say, okay, well, we're not going to be able to give you this, so you got to figure it out for yourself. So not taking an illegal route, thinking of ways I could make money. So I went out and mowed lawns, did it all on my own, started a little business. And I think because of being a female and I was doing it, I made a lot of connections and more money because guys would feel like, oh, okay, she's out here cutting grass. Let me hire her to cut my grass.
Mm-hmm. She's doing something different.
Yeah.
What do you think it was? Was it something, I should say, in you that let you know that, well, I can do it if a guy can do it? Or was it just that, like you said, you had that need to sort of make things happen on your own because maybe the money wasn't there otherwise in the family? Or a combination?
I'm the oldest of six. So I think more or less like, you know, my parents would give us what they could, but that extra, like being a Libra, I kind of like the finer things in life, and that's not always going to be the case when you have 6 kids. Like, you're going to get them the necessities. I wanted the new Nikes. I wanted the new Swatch watch. Whatever was new and trendy, I wanted it. So at a young age, I figured I have to go get it on my own. it's not always going to be handed to me. So for me, it was just a matter of wanting the extra, not so much my necessities being met, but the extra.
Right. To being able to treat yourself.
Yeah.
What's your background? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Jersey. I'm a military brat, but once my dad got to Fort Dix in New Jersey, we ended up there from 82 on. So I'm a Jersey girl. In my heart, I love everything East Coast, hip hop, all of that. So
what part of Jersey?
Willingboro, South Jersey.
Oh, Willingboro. Oh, that's right. Because of Tara and my
Tara.
friend Erica is from Willingboro and Tia. Yeah, that whole crew. Oh,
yeah, Pemberton. We graduated. Me and Tara graduated from Pemberton High in 91. Yeah, class of 91.
I love it. Now, how would you describe yourself as a young person? We see that you were enterprising, but how would you describe a young Syretta?
I think if you asked anyone, I was very sociable. I love connecting people. I was part of probably every group that, even though those groups weren't connected, I was interchangeable in those groups. Like I could hang with anyone. In high school, I was voted most likely to knock Oprah Winfrey off her show and star and In Living Color. So I had the gift to get people to tell me stuff. I was funny. But at the same time, I think I'm practically, everybody would say I was their friend. I tried to be everyone's friend. I'm just that girl, like, if I like you, I like you. I want to make everyone like each other.
And what would you say were some of your greatest influences growing up?
My mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother. I come from a long line of strong Black women. And my aunts, my great-aunts, they were all women who made something out of nothing. They saw an opportunity for themselves. My mother, being that she had 6 kids, she still was able to get her master's. She never let anything stop her. So with me seeing that, I had no fear that I could make it. Even if my path wasn't the same that they had went down, I knew that eventually I would make it on my own path. So they influenced me a great deal. I'm also influenced by other women around me, strong women. I look at, you mentioned Tara, who's a good girlfriend of mine. I have another girlfriend, Sonny, and my own sisters, Andrea and Jennifer, and my daughter, who influences me. I look at women who throw all caution to the wind and just make it happen no matter what. And even if it's not the success that other people are judging them by, it's the success that they've made their own. And I find that to be so inspiring to me. Like, it may not be what the mainstream is saying, oh, you need to work in corporate America and do this. It's whatever they've deemed it, and they've put all into it, and they've made it happen.
That's right. And would you say, as I'm just curious, as the oldest of 6, how does that affect, if in any way, who you are as a person today? Are you naturally a caregiver, if you will?
I am. I think anybody who knows me will say I'm always being a mama, a big sister. It's who I am. I enjoy that about me. I think it's one of my better qualities is I want to save everyone. I want to make everyone happy. If you come to me, I think that's why I do makeup. I want you to feel good about everything that you are looking at and seeing. I will encourage you. I will support your dream, even if you don't see it. I'm like, well, let's do it. You can do it. I'm just that person.
Cheerleader.
I'm the biggest cheerleader. I have the most patience with people. I probably want things for them that they don't even want. And that, to me, is one of my better qualities. And that came from being the oldest of 6, like having to be that person that went out and made it happen for them to say, okay, you guys can do whatever you want to do, because Syretta went out here and yeah, she might have went this path, but it all worked out in some way for her.
So tell us then about the journey to starting to do makeup. You mentioned that that's one of the ways that you are a cheerleader of sorts for people, helping them look or feel their most beautiful.
Well, my thing with makeup was my sisters probably saw it in me more than I did. I tried to do everything but makeup in the beginning because I didn't think people would take that as a serious job. Like, oh, that's just makeup. That's vain. It's vanity. You don't make any money. but I always had a flair for that. So my younger sisters one Christmas bought me a full makeup set, and that was in 99. And I thought, oh, maybe they see something I don't see. And then I started researching it. And then I'm like, oh, there is a living to be made in makeup. Okay,
How were you
can
doing
do
it
this.
before? Were you doing it just for them and friends, or where did they see
I
you
was
doing
just
it?
doing it on myself, and I was that person that would lock themselves in the bathroom growing up and put on makeup, and I'd color my hair. You name it, I tried it. I had Kool-Aid dyed my hair before. I'm just that person that I love fashion magazines. I was reading Glamour and Cosmo at 13 and 12, like not for the articles, but more for the fashion of it all. So I think I always knew, but I didn't know. No, like I'd loved it, but I didn't know there was a business to be made in it. So when I started to think about it seriously, I'm like, oh, okay, I can do this and still make people feel good. Because my biggest goal was I wanted to affect change in the world. So I wanted to do nursing and things that seem more humanitarian. But then I was like, I could do makeup and it still is the same thing. Like I would see women who would come in when I started at Sephora. They would just, that one lipstick would change their whole outlook on life. Like they would feel a little bit more confident. It might just be enough to help them go get that job, you know, whatever it was. So it looked to me like makeup is where I was called, but also it could still affect a change with people. Because you know, as a woman, like the moment you put on a little bit of mascara, you start to hold your shoulders different, start to carry yourself different. And as vain as it sounds, the more you feel like you look good and the more you put that out there, the more you actually can start to feel good.
That's right. And it's so interesting what you said, too, about your sister seeing something in you that you didn't see in yourself. That's why it's so good to have those people around us who are mirrors we didn't even know we needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I say that all the time about my sisters, my daughters, and my girlfriends, the people I've surrounded myself with. When I get discouraged, they push me. They go, no, yeah, you can do it. And I'm always like, well, how do you know that I can do it? And I'm like, I see it. And then once they feel it, I may have already felt it, but I don't want that arrogance of thinking I can do everything. But when I know other people are riding with me, it just makes me want to do it a little bit more.
Right. That's why that energy, and it's for everyone listening to remember that energy in the environment you have yourself in, or the people, as you mentioned, you surround yourself with, is so more important than we know sometimes. Even if the people are passively discouraging you, even if they don't know it. Yeah, you have to be surrounded by people who encourage you. So tell us then, you said your first step once you decided that you were going to do makeup was working at Sephora?
Yes, I got myself together and I went and interviewed at Sephora. It was very new and exciting at that time. It was new to the U.S. And I started in fragrance. And within a month, they promoted me to lead makeup. And then years later, I was events coordinator and a makeup specialist. So it's what launched my career, retail, and it gave me an opportunity to meet other product lines and learn product and go out and work for different people, so that I knew I wanted to do more, but I didn't know how. And then at that time in Atlanta, the market was music videos, the news, CNN, those kind of limited resources, where the film and TV industry came a little later. So I did all of the retail part of it, and I worked in the news. I did a couple of music videos until the TV and film industry got here.
And when did you end up in Atlanta? How soon? I
was in Atlanta in 98. I moved back to Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for now going on 20 years this time around. But I lived here in 93 to 96, when the height of Freaknik and all the good times.
Freaknik!
But I left, yes. My youth.
Times. I know, right?
My youth. But I moved back home in 96 and I met my husband, and it took me 2 years to convince him to move to the South.
Okay.
He's a Philly, Jersey guy. So once he came to visit and it was a Freaknik, we moved the next month.
You tricked them.
Yeah.
You're like, it's like this all the time.
All the time. Yeah. We party every day like this.
Oh my gosh. What was it about Atlanta that made you want to come down here at that time? This is before it's as hot as it is now.
Yeah. It was, I was able to see people like me doing big things. At that time, it was known as the Motown South. Like, it was a lot of industry with the music business. Even though I wasn't necessarily in it, it just was inspiring to see all of these people that you could go into Lenox Mall and run into Jermaine Dupri and the Brat and all of that, Outkast, and it made me excited. It wasn't like in Jersey, I'd have to get on a train, go to New York, go to Philly. It was all here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was new. It was really new at that time. It was some of the places that are here now, people don't even realize, like Gwinnett County didn't even have housing and things that they have now. That's how new it was. They developed it as it came along. But I just loved the energy here. My mom said to me, she's like, you planted your roots in Atlanta, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a Jersey girl by heart. There's certain things I miss about up north, the seasons. But for the most part, I knew that something about Atlanta spoke to me in a very good way, like the civil rights movement, that activism, all of the history that was here, I really wanted to be a part of.
So how did you end up then? I know you were at Sephora, but how did you end up making the transition, or even if not a transition, getting these opportunities like working on videos and those kinds of things?
In the beginning, I got an agent, the Green Room Agency, Nisa Green. They took me under their wing. She mentored me. I did news, and it was just from there I made connections. And as I honed my craft and got better, the more connections I started to make, like I would move around and move out. I ended up connecting with other makeup artists, one being a good friend of mine, Keetrick Starks and Lena Anderson. And then they got into the movie side of it, and Dion Wynn. And they were like, oh, okay, well, we'll bring you along when we have some days to give you. And they brought me along, and that bug hit. And I knew that I wanted to be bigger and better in the industry. So kind of trained with them, did Single Ladies, different little shows that were here, Teen Wolf. And then I think Keetrick went over to Tyler Perry, and I followed him as his key, and the rest is history. He moved on and I moved up.
So that's how the journey began, or got you to being the department head of makeup at Tyler Perry Studios?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So how long were you there before you moved up into that position?
I've been at Tyler Perry. I started back in 2011, was the first time working for him on For Better or Worse. And then we took a full year where we didn't work. And then we came back in 2013, and I've been there ever since. And I had moved up in 2016.
So what do you do as the head of makeup?
What I do is the fun part of designing the looks for the shows that we have. If it's a new show, I get to design it from scratch. If it's a show that's already been established, I'm there basically to maintain the look of the show, or when new characters come in, read what that character is and put a look to that. I also hire other artists to keep that vision going. Mm-hmm. I'm there to make sure that continuity, that the department runs in a smooth way, that everyone is happy. Mm-hmm. My job is to keep the talent happy, to keep Tyler Perry happy, to keep the studio executives happy, and to keep the people on my team happy, that we're all creating beautiful work together.
Now, when you say you design a look for the characters, is there a way that designing a look, quote unquote, for ourselves is something that we can do with makeup? What do you look at when you look at a character of how you want to make them look, or their makeup look?
I look at the lifestyle that they're supposed to be leading. Like, if it's a businesswoman, it's the same in your own personal life. Like, what is it that motivates you every day? Like, are you getting up, going to a job? So what's going to be the easiest professional look to dictate for that character? Because I want it to be believable. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're a bank executive, There's no reason for you to have on 3 sets of lashes, long nails. All of those things are far-fetched in a professional setting. But if you're a stripper, then yeah, that works. Or if, you're a woman who's a single mother who's working in a restaurant and who's waiting tables, you're not going to have all of the access to a lot of makeup. So you're going to pull yourself together, but you may not be done up. One show in particular, Too Close to Home, when it first came out, and it was the first show I was the department head on, it was Trailer Park versus Washington, D.C. DC characters look totally different than the trailer park characters because they're what they have access to. So that's what I always tell women when they're asking me, like, well, I want to do makeup every day. I want to make sure I look made up. But what do you have access to? What is going to be realistic in your real life that you're going to do? Like, as a makeup artist, I don't get up every day and put on makeup. I put on skincare and maybe a lip, maybe some concealer. But for the most part, it's not about me trying to do all my makeup. It's about me presenting an image to you, a polished image. So I hope that women take that in their own personal life. Like, how much time do I have in the morning to get ready? Am I on a schedule? Same with characters. It's the same thing. Like, if I'm trying to create them as realistic to your life as possible.
Right. Access and time are the things, like you said, that we need to look at.
Yeah,
exactly. So what would you say, do you have any favorite, not to make this all about just about makeup and products, but would you say, even if not favorite products, what are the key things that you would say make a polished look no matter how much time you have, or if you have a limited amount of time, for women who might just be experimenting at this point?
Well, the main thing for me is take care of your skin. Your skin, no matter how much makeup you put on, if you don't do skincare part of it, none of it will read well. So I like drinking water. I always tell women, like, think about what you're putting in comes out. Moisturize. I can't say that enough. Moisture. A lot of women think, oh, I'm oily, so I don't need moisture. You do. You do. You need that hydration to your skin. Do
you have a favorite moisturizer? Go ahead.
I do. I do have a favorite moisturizer right now is the Dermalogica SPF of 50. And that's just because I like to protect my skin as well. I do love the sun, but I want to protect my skin.
And sometimes people with brown or dark skin think we don't need SPF, which is false.
It's a falsity, because we can get skin cancer just like anyone else. I also love concealer. And one of my favorite concealers is Bobbi Brown. It's light, easy to use, and it also conceals and corrects. I also do love NARS products when it comes to that, because you can go in and find a wide shade of them where it's not just one fits all. They have enough to fit everyone.
Excellent.
Lipstick. I'm a lipstick girl.
Me too.
I used to not be. I have full lips, so a lot of times I was shied away from it, and then the older I got, the more I embraced it. I do love a lot of lip product. You can get me. I change up lipstick every week.
What's one of your favorites right now? Are you doing like a gloss, a matte, what kind of?
I'm doing right now. I line with a liner called Train Blue by NARS, and I put Charlotte in the middle of it. It's a lipstick by them as well, and it's like a two-tone deep lip because it's fall, and I'm all about a dark red and a purple marrying well together.
I love it. I could talk about that all day.
Yes,
right.
And I could too, obviously.
So what would you say now, going back to the sort of business side of it, what would you say would be 3 tips that you would give someone looking to enter the field as a makeup artist now, especially if they're looking to do something like you with working for a studio and that kind of thing?
One of those things that people really need to realize is that makeup is a business. It is your business. You want to know your self-worth, know what you're going to charge people when you do it, and also be prepared to deliver when you're charging. It's one thing to say, oh, I want to be a makeup artist. It seems so fabulous. It looks fabulous, but there's a lot of times when it's not. So be prepared to know what you're getting into. Like, a lot of people will come and be like, oh, I want to work on set, and they work, and they're like, oh, I didn't know I was going to be here 16 hours today.
Right.
It is,
Standing.
yeah, standing, hurry up and wait. It's all of those things in itself, but it is very rewarding if it's what you want to do. It's kind of hard because everyone's path is different with it. If you want to do this, what I'm doing, like I said, know your worth. That's a big thing for me. A lot of times we get into it and think, oh, I just want to do makeup. I just want to make people look pretty. But that actress needs you to do her job. So know that in order for her to do her job, you need to get paid to do your job. When you get to set, it's not as glamorous as it looks. It's a lot of time where we're the first ones in, the last one's out. You're dealing with a lot of personalities. Sometimes it's not even about our talent. It's about our personality, our willingness to be flexible with other people. Don't take everything personal. It is business. We're artists, so sometimes we're sensitive, as Erykah Badu, about our stuff. So, but it's not all the time about that. So it's many things that I think a lot of people think one thing, but it's not just that one thing in makeup artistry. It isn't. I don't even know how to explain it sometimes. It's just not that one thing.
What's a lesson that you learned about value? I know that's something that you want to make sure people get that message. What's a lesson you had to learn about either valuing yourself or what you do for people as a makeup artist, as far as charging or just value overall of the work?
One of the lessons is, and I go back to my sister, my sisters will check me and my daughter because I will do makeup for free. I would do it, but I can't pay my bills for free. So there's times where I feel bad when I have to tell someone this is my rate and I have to stand by it. But if you go to a dentist, they tell you their rate and you stand by it. So I had to learn a long time ago that, hey, I'm worth that. Like
providing
they're
a service.
asking me, obviously they want what I'm doing. So I need to be able to say, hey, I'm worth this amount because I know what I know and I do a good job. It took me a little while because I would be like, well, it's just makeup. They don't actually have to have it. Well, no, they do actually have to have it sometimes because in order for them to get in front of a camera and perform, they need what I'm offering them. And some people aren't gifted enough to do it. So it is my talent and it is my value. So I had to learn that lesson, like, okay, say it. And if they don't agree with it, okay, then that person wasn't for you. That job just wasn't your job. Let it go. Move on.
Right. I think that's important too, like you said, because I think, I mean, depending on the circumstance, you know, we do what we want to do as far as working with people on things, but also not only saying your rate and being confident, but then if someone tries to, oh, well, you're only doing this or you're doing this much or it's not going to take that, you know, sort of talk you down. You have to be willing to walk away.
Oh, if I bring my own lashes, I'm like, okay, that don't mean nothing.
Exactly. Right. Like you don't have to bring your lashes. I got it. And this is the rate.
Exactly.
So what do you think, or I should say, I guess there's not an exact price or rate that you could tell people that they should charge, but do you suggest that women or men who are makeup artists base it on your experience or the amount of time? How does someone, do you suggest, determine their rate? What are the things they should look at?
And that's always tricky in this business too, but demographics, where you're at, like what market you're in, see what other people are charging that do the exact same thing you're doing. Like if you're offering out bridal services, see what other makeup artists who are bridal service oriented are offering. With TV and film, you don't have so much to worry about that because there's a union I'm in that negotiates my rate for me.
Right.
So I know what I'm going into when I go into my job. Like that negotiation part has been taken out. But when you're freelancing and doing it on your own, I always ask other people like, well, hey, how much do you charge? And depending on where they're at in their career, I'll say, oh, I'm right on that same level. We've been doing it for that time. I may charge the exact same thing. Or if I've been doing it a lot longer, I may say, maybe I'll add $50 to my service because, hey, you're getting my 18 plus year service versus, hey, someone who's coming straight from another industry for 2 years is charging this.
Mm-hmm.
So always gauge it by what's going on in your market.
Back in July, you wrote on Instagram, what a joy it is to walk in your ultimate purpose. The first step is writing the vision. Now, I'm a big proponent of vision, so when I saw this, I had to ask you about it. So tell us about your practice of writing your vision and how you go about doing this and how it's helped you sort of walk in your purpose.
So I guess I've been writing my vision for years before I knew anything about a vision board. I go back sometimes and visit like journals I kept when I was a lot younger, or little letters I wrote to myself about where I saw myself and what I wanted to do in life. And I've been a big proponent of writing it down and making it come true. Like if you don't have a definite guide to where you want to go, you just aimlessly flying by the seat of your pants to me. Like I need to write things down and look at them and go, this is where I see myself next year. This is what I want to do. This is my goal now. It's immediate. I want to do this. I want to buy this. I want to get this. So for me, I have all of this always going on. I do Pinterest a lot if I want something, or I'm a visual person, I guess, as a artist. So I have to have visual stimulation and look back on it. So that's why I write things down, and then I look back and I'm like, I'm actually doing it. And it's always amazing when I do look at it and it is actually happening. It didn't happen in the timeline that I thought, but it actually happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if you have to somewhat either say it, mean it, in order for it to happen. Like if you have it in you and you just keep it to yourself, you don't know who else might be able to help you on that path if you never vocalize it or put it out there. Someone else might be on that same way and be like, hey, I saw that you wanted to do this, so I know an opportunity for you to do this. Right. Here you go. And that's what happens. Like even me meeting you, I said I wanted to do something, and Tara was like, oh, I know this person who can do this, so here, let me get you guys to meet.
Right, exactly. And I think I was going to say exactly what you said, just writing it down, but then not being afraid to share it with people, of course, people you trust. But this is what I want to do. Even if you don't know how, I would say let go of the how. This is what I want to do. And then that person just holds that energy for you or tells you, oh, well, what about this? And sometimes it's people that you don't even think of might be able to make the right connection or the suggestion or whatever it is that'll move you forward.
Yeah, and that's always been my thing. Like I had another girlfriend who wanted to be in the union and do makeup. And I remember seeing in her Facebook post that she was like, I'm going to just keep putting it out here. And the moment I got the opportunity to help her, I did, because I knew this is her path. This is what she wants to do. Every day I see her posting about, this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And it just so happens I was in a position to help her do it.
Right. And that's how you keep building. And then too, being able to offer that, it brings positive karma back to you. Of course, you're doing it because you care about her, but just being in that space of, well, you're naturally a giver, as we established earlier on, but being in that space of giving, those things come back around. They
do. So everyone should do that. Like give without knowing. Sometimes you just have to give thinking, you know what, that was your opportunity. You never know when it'll be your opportunity and someone will do the same for you.
That's right. So what would you say then is your vision for yourself as a makeup artist, a businesswoman, a creative? And then also, I know you also do or are starting to do workshops and things for quote unquote everyday women too, as far as makeup.
My vision right now is I want to be a beauty brand ambassador where women look to me for that inspiration for beauty. And not just outwardly beauty, but inward. Like I want to encourage women to be their best selves. Like makeup is just an enhancement. And that is my motto, my mantra is I don't alter you. I enhance what God already gave you. So I want to keep that kind of positive energy. I just think that makeup is my guide to do a lot of things. So my ultimate goal is to support women, to make them feel good about themselves in all aspects of their physical and well-being. So my goal is to hopefully in the next year or two, have my blog up and to be on bigger stages to speak to women in an empowerment kind of way about their looks.
I just had an idea about, I've been wanting to do an event and feature, I've talked to, over 175 women at this point, fantastic women like you, and thinking, well, how can I do an event where I bring some of these women together? So maybe we can do something where you come and speak about enhancing yourself, makeup, and how it's about more than makeup and that kind of thing. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it offline. See, there you go. Putting it out there, right?
Putting it on the table. Someone else has a vision, and now we're on the same path.
Exactly. There you go. So what about the workshops and things that you have started? Did you have one recently?
I had a workshop if you're trying to get into the business of doing makeup for TV and film. I'm doing a series of workshops. The first one was Day Player Basics, and that's just learning how to come on set, not actually doing principal talent, maybe, but more background, just getting days to get established in this industry. I also have, like you mentioned earlier, I'm doing workshops where I want to do for women, everyday women who you're not in front of a camera, but you have the need to want to do your own personal makeup for your everyday life or a personal event you have coming up. I want to have a workshop where I can sit down and go over my personal mantra on that. Like, okay, hey, these are the steps I take to get me together when I'm going out into the world, and kind of tailor it for your everyday look.
Mm-hmm. And how has that been so far? What has the reception been like?
I've had more and more women excited to do it, and they can't wait till I put the workshop out there. So I'm working with my team now to put together that first big workshop.
Mm-hmm. What would you say is one of the either more difficult or most memorable lessons that your career has taught you?
Not to take any of this personal, because there was a year where I took everything to heart because I just thought it meant me personally, that I wasn't working, people weren't calling me. And I just realized that that wasn't my time, and it wasn't personal. It was someone else's time. And so I had a whole year where I just sat around and I was like, oh, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? And that next year, after I let go and saw what that purpose was and why I was pulled out of those situations, everything just took off from there. And then I learned to put it in perspective, what this job really meant to me, that it didn't, if I didn't do it every day, it didn't mean that I wasn't worthy every day. Mm-hmm. That it just meant that that wasn't my time, that the right moment was coming, the right opportunity, everything was going to happen when it was supposed to happen. And it took a full year of me getting that lesson. But when I got it, I tell you, everything changed for me. And even now, if there's moments where it's like, oh, I'm not working, I go, but everything will be all right because it was all right. And I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Right. You're showing up and doing the work, and all of those things will come as they're supposed to come. How did you learn that lesson? I know from experience, but did you have, I should say, support or help or people around you, as you mentioned before, who helped you through that time? Because it's not always easy for some of us, especially if we feel alone.
Well, for me, I have a great support system, within my family. I'm real family oriented, but I also have girlfriends who are like sister girlfriends. But my sisters and my husband really, because every night he would hear me and I'd be upset, and I'm like, well, I was just working on this, and I worked with this person and they're working on this. And he would just tell me, like, let that go. It's not for you. My sisters would always be like, when it happens for you, it's nothing that anybody else is going to be able to do to take it away from you. So just know that it's coming. You got to hang in there, because I did want to give up, and I was thinking I might need to do something else. Let me think of something more stable. Let me find another job. Let me fall back on this or go back to school and get this, where it was all them saying patience. They saw it. They knew it was coming. I felt it was coming. It just wasn't coming quick enough. But when it came, I was like, okay. And from that, I just learned never to doubt it. Like, even if it looks a little dim, you have to know within you if you're working and walking in your purpose, it will happen. It is nothing no one else can do. Even if people stop or block or say, oh, well, I'm going to tell you no, you're going to get fired. That just means the door is going to open over here somewhere else. And it's going to be a bigger and better, brighter opportunity for you in that moment.
Amen. Let's take a quick break to thank our sponsors. So if you're a solopreneur like me, you probably live by your schedule. You talk to people all around the world, from clients to freelancers. For me, podcast interviews that I have to set up. So my schedule means everything. And that is why I use Acuity Scheduling. Acuity has been my savior for the past year. It helps me, honestly, keep my sanity. And I was excited to get the chance to talk to Kristen Barber, Customer Happiness Specialist at Acuity, about just how the company goes about keeping their customers sane and happy.
So Acuity Scheduling is an online scheduling software program really focused on helping small businesses focus on what matters to them. So we take a lot of the day-to-day minutia off of your hands. We set it up so that you can have all of your clients self-schedule in, manage their appointments, reschedule, cancel if something comes up. You didn't have to call them and do this awkward back and forth dance of what date and time work for you. If anything changes, they don't need to call and let you know. They can just handle that all on your own, and you're kept up to date. And it takes so much work off your plate so that you can focus on either building your business up with other aspects that a scheduling program can't handle, or go enjoy yourself.
And as a special offer for Support is Sexy listeners, Acuity Scheduling is offering a 45-day free trial just for you. So go to acuityscheduling.com/sexy. Again, that's ACUITY scheduling.com/sexy. And you can take advantage of any plan they have there for 45 days. At the end of that time, whatever plan you want to continue with, you can do that, or you can stick with the free plan. acuityscheduling.com/sexy.
We'll be keeping an eye out for you sexy ladies.
And now back to the show. So tell us, Syretta, what has entrepreneurship taught you about yourself as a woman?
Taught me how strong I am, because as most entrepreneurs know, that if you don't go out there and get it, you're not going to get it. It's not like working for a job where you punch in a clock at 8 a.m. and you punch out at 5 p.m. and you know you're going to get this amount of money. Entrepreneurship, you're working it all day, all night. It's in your sleep. It's no definite guarantee of hours. It's no definite guarantee of how much you're going to get back. You just know I'm giving it my all so that I can get something back. So it taught me how strong and faith driven I had to be in this kind of a game.
So in closing, if you think over your life and career, and you had the chance to thank only one person whose support was critical to you personally or professionally, who would that be, and what would you say?
Ooh, that one's tough. Because now I'm going to offend somebody, but I really wouldn't want to. But I'd have to say just one. Could it be two, but they're the same?
Okay.
My sisters. Okay, it's my sisters, because my sisters really always have my back. Especially my youngest sister, Jennifer. I think the thing about her is she can take herself out of my situation and be the person that sees it from all angles, where I'm so connected to people and I touch and move and do things. She can take that all away and be able to just put it in black and white terms for me. And when I don't know if I can do it, she'll push me along and she'll be like, you got it. When I kind of get too far gone with what I'm doing, and she'll pull me back in and say, okay, you're doing too many things. But both my sisters really give me that encouragement. They see it. They big up me. They look up to me. That makes me want to do it more, because I know I'm doing it because of them. because I want them to be able to do whatever they want to do. So yeah, you kind of got me there, because I'm an emotional person too. So with my sisters, yeah, those are the two that I would like to thank the most, because they always do have my back.
Beautiful. I love it. I'm sure they'll appreciate that.
I hope.
Absolutely. So now tell us how we can support you. Tell everyone website and social media, how we can follow you and keep up with what you're up to.
Follow me on social media at Instagram, Facebook, The Makeup Socialite. You can come out. I post a lot of my classes when I'm doing everyday women classes. If you're trying to get in the industry, the last looks classes. Those are the ways you can support me. And also, just if you know of any platforms where I can come and speak to empower other women about their beauty, I'm definitely looking for those opportunities to be on those panels or in front of those crowds of women, telling them, hey, you're beautiful and this is how you can make yourself even more beautiful.
And is that the best way to contact you, through the social media?
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. Good. We're going to get you out there talking to more women about, because I think you have such a great message, not only, and talented, obviously, about makeup, but also, as you mentioned, just your message of makeup being the enhancement. It's really about how beautiful you feel.
Yes. I want more women to know that than anything. Like, I do what I do, but I know it's all from inside that exudes your beauty more than me putting on a lipstick or a lash.
Mm-hmm. Right. Excellent. Syretta, thank you so much. I'm so glad we were able to make this happen. Can't wait to go out again, brunch again soon.
Yes.
Wonderful. Now, before you go, what's a parting piece of advice from you to our listeners about anything?
Be true to yourself. Be the change you wish to see in this world.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Syretta, thank you. Hold on one second.
Okay.
All right. I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Syretta. To find out more about what she's up to and about the classes and workshops that she has coming up, make sure you go to supportissexypodcast.com and just search for her name, Syretta, Syretta. Supportissexypodcast.com. Go to the search icon and search Syretta. Also, before you go, I want to share with you the review of the week. So excited to share another one with you. Keep them coming. I love them. I love to hear what you think about the podcast and what's working for you. So this one comes from Cassie D. And Cassie says, sometimes you forget that you have to worry about yourself and not other people's quote unquote feelings. You have to make time for what you want to do in order to be successful. Hopefully, in the end, they will understand. If not, it is not you. Thank you for the reminder. Thank you so much, Cassie, for sharing that. And I'm glad whatever episode that was, whatever message that was, that it really struck home for you and reminded you to take care of yourself. That's what it's all about, right? We're all giving and supportive people. But a lot of times we have to think about, how am I showing up for myself? What am I doing to make sure that I'm my best and I can show up as my best self, feeling good, worrying about my feelings as opposed to everyone else's feelings. So thank you, Cassie. I appreciate you. For everyone listening, please, whatever platform you're listening on, because Cassie did this on Stitcher. Yay, Cassie. But wherever you're listening, please leave a review. Let me know what you think. I'd love a 5-star review. Any feedback is appreciated. I would love to hear from you. Okay, so thank you again for being here. If this is the weekend, have a great one. And until next time, you know what to do. Go out there and create something sexy. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.